You sit here. I'll be with the audience. You sit here. I'll be with the audience. Okay, me come sit down. Me come sit down.
Let me explain. Let me explain. Thank you to AG below you me, and Mr. Vantem you me. Oh, you vice president. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you to lo kama pala pala kata you pala disindaw na harim pinis sampal tok belum pala. The Bipartisan Committee or lo Independence lo Bougainville nami pala National Parliament's Bipartisan Committee long Bougainville matters. People I talk finish. Now it time now lots formal consultation now namelo people members of the public na people sala committee people blo National Parliament. Nonggut people I think nonggut long sala member blo people ya lo not Bougainville sin down ya. Emily appointment to Parliament appointment to lo member long despla Bipartisan Committee. So she's not here by default or when I'm rightful place belongan. So you play no can ting karangi longan. So misin down one time pala. Yeah. I think one time the sala you play harimol talk belum pala finish. It's basically the same thing. We play like talking people members of the public longan. With the Melanesian agreement, now we play look the sol now lo. Take him the salam meta now. The referendum result you go lo parliament. Also me talk finish sampla lo play harim me talk lo here. It start long before I come nap now lo the referendum result. And finish. All of something in the past, and now people I saw him long the referendum result. The referendum result 97.7%. People I vote law independence. This is like capture him. It capture him all get something that people I start long and no past it come up on the time. Then some like agreement ni kama SAP agreement. Kone kan all kan like agreement can come up. Let me go finish. Now the only agreement now that is before us is the Melanesian agreement. And the Melanesian agreement supposed to play look longan. I think it painting one pala good pala picture long approach to put aside by must take him. Lo address him the referendum result. Lo ratify him, lo ratification long the referendum result. The Melanesian agreement, they provide him now good pala way. It talk strong long Melanesian framework. Ino talk lo constitutional law experts. Ino talk long legalistic approach nogat. It talk lo Melanesian approach lo tupala side he must take him. Na mi palay mas strong sa la bipartisan committee. Mi palay mas strong lo make him all of the members of parliament. Iluk sabe. That aninit long sa la Melanesian agreement long Melanesian framework. No more can insist long on legalistic arguments or some sovereignty na some la talk to only talk all some suppose people like give him independence lo Bougainville now or narapala by narapala province by he like him too by only him as one kind. But it's not as easy as that. I mean, no one can easily conclude like that. Because Bougainville has gone through a lot of hardship, difficulties. There's a lot, plenty of people, members of parliament, not disputing this. So with that, there's a understanding. Also, one palaman lo lay yasikim. During our consultation long, Mumase region. You member of parliament. Now, how number you vote? No. Against him 97.7%. I thought that was a very strong question, very powerful question that made us think that, hey, you may look good can long the Melanesian agreement. The most recent one that was signed in June between Prime Minister and the President of Bougainville. So I'm also by way of background. Now by me, OPIM, lo you people are now all members of the public. Lo maybe address him sample this la question na. Lo ting belum mi, karang ting belum mi taso. Suppose lo consultation. Na mi play wala to no gat. Mi play no angry lo sample something. How na? On what grounds by mi play talk no gat. And what would be the solution for that? Because I'm planning to all members of parliament. Don't get me wrong. Planning to by no nothing, right? And that's not good. In Melanesia, the majority has got to agree, whether Sampala no like him or Sampala he like him. The majority, he must one bell. So there's a little background. Me give you now you can talk, make him comments or ask him some question. We've spoken enough. Unless Francisca, you like make him some little talk. Thank you.
I've been on through. Thank you, Loyu Plakam. I think suppose you watch him committee walkabout inside Long Papua New Guinea, you would have seen that I think plenty long all walkabout long all may not been stopped inside, but I'm part of this group, the Bougainville Bipartisan Committee. And I believe it's fair and it's correct that we have a Bougainvillean sitting inside this committee. I wanted to be a part of the bipartisan long now yet. Me no walkabout want them whole team. You understand how I feel about the process. Tami no walkabout want them whole team. You go all parts of Papua New Guinea, but you understand him that I am an advocate for independence. And I've stood in parliament, na me talk long how me feeling people he feel him long em, like the people will feel him long em. Also chairman he talk. Time you look at me sitting down low here, no can feel him karangi that also one Mama Franco and me lose him is la ting belong em na kala bigo gen long outside. We are a bipartisan committee. Me play come kisim ting blow you. I didn't join the team time will walk about run because me been feeling one play bail pen blow me. Like what chairman been talk, The 11th Parliament of Papua New Guinea has a lot of young people that have come in that might not even have a complete idea or a fair idea about the Bougainville. So, Chairman Blomi, and me fail to the 11th Parliament, and by needing, we will need to actually, before we take that vote, long ratification, we need to do advocacy for the whole Parliament, so understanding why people voted the way we voted, why we are adamant about independence. There's nothing else apart from the word independence. Me play like him independence. Me harem committee play milo ABG talk. Now no sense him talk blong all tua. Me kam sense la bipartisan committee. Lokam harim you two. One can time me no sense him like blomina talk. Me been walking long June, long 2024. And me sign up how me talk. How me sign up me talk. I stand long how me been talk. Me been feeling pain because one problem me play. It also what's so special about Bougainville. Now this I'm walking bill me cry. And the reason why Bougainville is special is because of what we've gone through. What we've endured as a group of people, what we've endured as mothers, as children. Also me talk finish long and but tete me talk again. I have not changed the way I feel and I have not changed the vote that I took. Me son up on the people in Bougainville yet. We've got also Papua New Guineans that will stand with us long time. You may walk in this vote. We only need to advocate. We only need to educate our younger parliamentarians, Parliament of Papua New Guinea, about why we took that vote, about why we voted for independence instead long the other option, the number one option. So we took the second option, which is independence for Bougainville. Mr. Togolsem, I believe the reason why Papua New Guinea by iting planti to maslularim you may go. Number one, all by talk, all by your right too. Will they be able to look after themselves? Kind of say, me always take him when I started talking about why it's important that we take that vote, which we took in November of 2019. Mr. Togolsem, if it's so hard for us to understand why Bougainville has voted and why Bougainville want to go that way, you may look back, you go along family. If a family had only one daughter, na talk papa mila go married ya. Na papa Togolsem, how about you go married? You know enough yet? You know big play yet? So, beginning by talk papa, me na finish. Me na plo married, me go married. Even to a stage where only paiti mem, only burkim leg blongem, because only feel him also we can let you go for the fear of the unknown. But then by me to also Bougainville, before it took that vote in 2019, we knew exactly where we were going. We knew what we wanted. And long me again me talk, and I know one of the members inside long ABG Independence Committee to also, I think it was too late. We've realized it was too late. Did we ever think we were going to come this far? Did we believe we were going to come this far and take that vote in 2019, which we took? Yes, we did. So along the day, people Blamilo Bougainville, we are doing what government is asking me to walk in. Me too, Mr. Togolsem. But me make it one something, and me play vote Pinisia. We've taken the vote. But then as a responsible country, they would like to make sure that you may rouse him all geta. Rouse him all geta mat. Are they sure? Like me harim gen chairman Togolsem or Dr. Buka Togolsem. Or something like him must look him lo you may from a parliamentary committee lo here is looking at independence readiness lo you may. How are the constituency independence readiness going? Nami kirap nami talk puya. You know, I'm sitting there also challenging, we're doing the right things, you know. But as a committee of the National Parliament of Papua New Guinea, we want to make sure that a province that has voted for independence in 2019, you may walk about or like you me. You voted for that independence already. Now they just want to make sure that we are okay. You may behind him on law. that me got long em. And then what what Dr. Marit was talking about was sovereignty. Sovereignty. Papua New Guinea is a sovereign nation, and we signed him, all people I had talked to be a sovereign nation. Now, bien me do me question him, and it's a sovereign nation. And we got right to refuse him Bougainville independence too. Then me ask him, time is in down long ha. So it's a sovereign nation. Did it give PNG the right to send the defense force over to Bougainville? I will ask him when we got too long him. It's a sovereign nation. What does a sovereign nation has? Long him make him walk long him. Number one, and make him walk to make sure that time province, Wampla province, long him the first of its province, where we vote him independence, like walk about. It's a sovereign nation, PNG. It must make him get a check and balance long him too. But Bougainville, like Dr. Marit talk long him, this is one of the first nations in the Pacific that has a province that me like walk about yet go na talk me pilim peninap me like walk about the sem. So for me, you've seen my stand on the floor of the parliament, me sana for independence for Bougainville. I will never change. It has not changed. I me pilim sa dilig word yeah. What's so special about them? It hurt me deeply. And I didn't walk about one time ni go long all, not walk about long all. But Bougainville, give me one bell. Me looking this la peaceful and enduring relationship between Papua New Guinea and Bougainville. Pasim blo yumi lo Melanesia, and pasim blo you look lo I blo man na yumi talk to. Pasim blo yumi lo Melanesia. Time only vote him now. They ratify. If all the yeses come from the floor of parliament, that all by giving me independence. That is a Melanesian way. Then all by talk. Now, time you play ratify this independence, how long will it take? Long you play larim, you play goal geta. So these are some of the things that time PNG ask him. You can build pen to mas long ema. You voted for your independence. You swam the world that you voted for for your independence. 98.7. What the country is doing and setting up this bipartisan committee, which I am part of, is to make sure that this nation of Papua New Guinea has done the right thing. And me up him all get a mat, and I check him all get a something where as Papa belong this island Bougainville. And me walk him get something he right pennies long and we can eventually talk, yes, on this date, and by me play and let him you go behind a Melanesian way. So Bougainville, this is a bipartisan committee where me step inside long him. No can think all same all no cry when them you. No can think all same all no peeling pen to you got long him. But as a nation, we have to make sure that me play make him decision that is going to be a responsible decision. No let him you me go, you me by go. But this country called Papua New Guinea that Jimmy Stapanit long made will have to make sure that we let him you go good. You know got believe but you me poroman yet. When I'm something but you me share him yet. And this is where that enduring relationship between Papua New Guinea and Bougainville come long him. Also me bin harim misa talk. Na suppose me kisim mat blomina. Pilo blomi ba me go away. I'll still be here. I'm only asking you to let me go so I can go and deal with the issues that I have in my heart now. I've lost so much in my life. This crisis set me back 45 years after independence. You play Adam if you can go back to what I said on that 6th of June. It came from a mother's heart. I had no fear saying that. And if you laughed about it, if you mocked me about it, you're wrong. That came from a mother of Bougainville. This time. So you have a bipartisan committee, come on, kiss him now, think blow you. Speak up. Don't be shy to tell us what you want to say. I know a member of ABG group, he was 17 when the war broke out. And I sat there knowing and seeing what it was like. Nigantuana, Merahu, the floor is yours, unless Dr. Buka would like to want something. But as a mother from Bougainville, as member for North and representing Bougainville as well on this bipartisan committee, don't be shy to open up and say something. Negantuana.
You go on microphone, now you talk.
Sorry, I'm on no. Mic test. Mic test. Okay, Chairman, members of Bipartisan, thank you. I'll take a very short time. I think the people of Bougainville need to be heard. Only harim mouse blow me too. Long pla time finish. O line sa harim radio, all not pla line boombox by Nogad. On 2 occasions, maybe 3, the Prime Minister had posed this challenge to the leaders of Bougainville. Prime Minister talk, you plo leader blo Bougainville. You plo must go back na talking people blo Bougainville. Only ready lo accept him result lo National Parliament or no one. And on those 2 occasions, me talking Prime Minister, respectfully, that Prime Minister, that's the wrong question to ask. The question that must be asked is whether the National Parliament is willing to accept the decision of the people of Bougainville. There's a subtlety there, but I think that's the biggest problem we're having in this relationship, where Bougainville, one time Papua New Guinea, only go through this la pen. This la crisis I'm Jimmy I've been dialogue. You know, one plus side. And we had signed that peace agreement. Now 2 plus side. They were required to do certain things. Achieve him, I got all timeline blongol, and then keep on moving. Me give this like example of some all former combatants today. Thank you to them. And all only go through this UN weapons disposal. And it was only because of that phased weapons disposal that National Parliament now you play passing this part 14. So that's the sort of cooperation that existed at that time. Even got requirement that was imposed alongside good governance, alongside weapons, now another play issue, which were the prerequisites to the referendum. Once those prerequisites were satisfied, then referendum will come out. You got requirement block consultation, to plus side consult. To now think that there is a possibility that at the last end of the road, at the very end, you got possibility, lo parliament, lo talk no. I mean, no straight. Me talk also because long time, long negotiation. The hardest agenda to be agreed to was the independence agenda. We left it until last. Me agree long all get us something except long agenda long independence. And the greatest unknown, me repeat him, chairman na committee. The greatest unknown is not the outcome of the ratification. The greatest unknown was the referendum result. Tete you may move him, this is importance now. The referendum result. It come long power number of long parliament. That was not the intention. The Bougainville peace agreement. To plus side, only sit down, na time all leader man Mary Bougainville, only talk long independence. National leaders only talking about leader man Mary Blo Bougainville. You leader man, you do not make him this decision. That decision must be made by individual Bougainvilleans. So, you make it up na agree. Also, leader man Mary by making this decision. That decision must be made by the Bougainvillean people. And Sepuka, I think colleague Minister Blue must step inside law here. Pungao. Yeah. And I'm tupla minister ya. Pungao one time Sepuka. I'm under the stewardship. I'm only agree lo displa tupla option. And not only that option, but national government it mipla ba define him independence. Yipla Bougainville, ba define him great autonomy. So the point I'm trying to make is, mipla Bougainvillean man Mary, mipla vote lo definition yipla make. Yipla yet define him. Number one, yipla agree long all options. You may limit him all two, and then you decided that you would define independence. Today, me not got right, Chairman. Me also am leader man lo Bougainville. Me not got right lo negotiate lo narpla option, apart from the option that the people voted. Suppose me agree lo narpla option, I would be failing in my duty. Naba me resign. So, tete, mi kam lo sanap, lo toksawe lo Bipartisan Committee. Mi been making awareness finish lo Parliament. Na I been got commitment from the national government to have a series of consultations. It never happened. It never happened. And today, emi true, now mi harim also, all parliamentarians plan di blongol, only ignorant, long, only not institutional memory long Bougainville. Well, that would have cured it. That would have cured it. Mipla by vote lo kubu. This la vote here by come up long national parliament. Sometimes I tell people on this side, we should probably stay away from all of this. It's a national government responsibility. Lara moligo, only been making this amendment lo part 14. Only vote. You mean not been gonna vote one them all? So maybe on this ratification, lose him now, let make him lo like belong. We've walked this path together. Now long sabe blomi, lo time we play negotiate him this la peace agreement. You make it up na talk. Whatever the result, National Parliament by endorse. We challenge him committee, lo look back lo dictionary, lo meaning lo ratification. Ratification and warning. Ratification and endorsement. The greatest unknown, me repeating, the greatest unknown was the referendum result. In all ratification, that was a foregone conclusion that whatever the result, National Parliament by endorsement. So, all narpla narrative and commentaries that all narpla province by Xim one kind suppose using out. Lomi doesn't hold water. You know what? Because the law is very specific that may apply to so long to Bougainville. Now, me like respond lo display commentary where me come up long National Parliament. Lo sampla line too, members only talk. Law no allow him independence. Lo me talk also, emi not true. Emi not true. Because part 14, emi constitutionalize him this referendum. Now, law to talk. You can get as many options as you want. But a compulsory option, and by independence. You can have 2, 14, 50, 55, 100 options. But one must be independence. So already the option of independence being the result was already flagged by the Constitution. Was already flagged. Now, me like him committee by accept him submission below me behind time he sign him finish, not immediately. But me like him committee look too long. The specific provisions lo mamalo. Mamalo ito. Suppose one something he come out lo consultation. After the referendum result, okay, time you consult the referendum result. Because you may not been sawa yet, me reminded me also, the questions, the options, we never knew. So the law was made wide enough, law capturing whatever the result. Now consultation now. Law now ito. One something he come out law consultation based on the referendum result. Suppose I mean no sit down good. One time narpla hablo mamalo. Part 14 must prevail. Part 14 must prevail. So consultation belong independence because I mean referendum result. Now suppose National Parliament now, through law consultation, you may yes longen, na got this kind agreement, you may not have kirap na to go, I'm against him lawyer. Because law it talk finish. Time referendum result it come out, now you consult. Now when something it come out law consultation, if it is inconsistent with any parts of the Constitution, then Part 14 must prevail. I think it's Section 276. I got all subsequent provisions that provide clarity to this issue. And therefore I stand today, Chairman, Lord talk him, make him clear, no long bipartisan tassel, but to the people of Bougainville, that MIPLO leaders, MIPLO not got right to negotiate and accept an option that is not what the people voted for. Me yet by me reluctant. Not reluctant, but I would refuse. I'm willing to participate in consultations and negotiations. But if the end result is one that the people did not vote for, then I have no legal authority to accept it. I think the trick around it is to be able to look at the independence result and work our way with options within that independence. If it is something else that is not within that independent sphere or definition, then my view is MIPLO leader man Mary inokat mandate. Lo deal one time display issue. Me agree one time you, Chairman, na Buka na Governor, that this Melanesian agreement gives us a great opportunity. But at the same time, there must be a proviso that it is not a Melanesian thing to agree outside of what the people had decided. It's a Melanesian agreement. You may test in boundaries, look at what the options are as Melanesians, but it must remain within what the people had voted for. Thank you, Chairman. O ba mi to ko nem boy na tuna.
Thank you, AG. Contributions? You come to the mic now. Talk. Thank you. You tell us your name and through you Bougainville so one constituency you come. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Committee below you. Trebla luksave. Nami tu luksave lombo colleagues Bougainvilleans me look at that one time. Chairman, name below me Joe Pius. Christmas below me now I'm 73 years old. I'm much older than you, sir. We want to play ex-soldier. We joined in Defense Force Law 1970. We go school Australia. We come back as a young lieutenant. Me lose him work law, defense force in one plan major. Little background by you, sabe. 1st September 1975, Toronto Barracks, Battalion Lomi, when we been based on Toronto Barracks, we been ready long, come to Bougainville, 1975, 1st September. And this time, 1st September, UDI blow me on Bougainville. Now me one pa, me been stable outside the same country, but me been ready to come and work on 19 puts and area me come down the Chop constituency, North Bougainville. Sir, the team blow you. Me got big blamas. Me got big blamas. Talk blow me. But me make him. But me hit him Papua New Guinea gaman. But me hit him Bougainville gaman. Now by you look him. One him have me like bringing me together one time. Sir, 1st September, Traplak heavy been come up, 1975. Only started him. Now, Bougainville been joining independence law 16 September 1975. Me partake law down in Pilak law, Australia, and up in Pilak law, Papua New Guinea law, Independence Hill. I was a young subaltern at that time. Sir, the team, history am go finish. History, you may go sabalong and stop finish. 10 years of war. Me part of this war. Me been losing army in 1981. 82 me stop the place going up crisis come up. Me partake. Me partake. Me go Karabus. All kissing me go stop about 7 months, 5 days behind bars. Or caravan. For taking part in an illegal army. Now me been talking court. I was meeting a sandwich. I was wanted by the defense force and I was wanted by the force on the ground, the BRA. I joined the BRA for my own safety. Me like, you harm this law because these are pains. Some of me it go through long. Anyway, Judge Tomarum gave me 2 years probation. Me no pa anyone plasan me wrong no you, but because security force have ground, but me give you 2 years probation. Come back, become a member of transitional government under Theodore Mirung. Now I was Minister for Works, responsible for all the come up now on Bougainville development all roads. Sir, trapla pena mi ko karama pintasol. Trapla pena. Then Mipla take part long trial of crafting out this peace agreement. And one of the agreement, Mipla got spending 3 months long in Port Moresby, time Mipla like crafting out this peace agreement is the Mirigini Charter. And one of the clause in the Mirigini Charter, me not remember I'm good now, was a new deal, a new spirit for a new Bougainville. A new deal, a new spirit for a new Bougainville. Let me ask ourselves today, have we achieved the new deal? Yes. Me and Mipla companies, yeah. Mipla Rausim Gan, Mipla Pomim Gamman BG. Now Mipla go finish the referendum. That's the deal. What is the new spirit? What is it? The spirit must come through cooperation on 2+ side. So that you come up in this land new plus spirit. We have not reached a new spirit. Papua New Guinea, you failed. Number one, you said send line no Trump. Kill me blogger. Where is it does it say in the sovereign nations, law that you go kill him all land? Where? Committee blame must talk clear. Committee blame must talk clear. Mipla were basically protecting Mipla, rights from Mipla. Start yet before it coming up, time from Mipla tete. Today mission up yet. Me now, me no talk lawyer awesome president, but I am the president of the Bougainville Veterans Federation. And me pla online been fight. But me no sanablo here, makim or veterans blow me. Me sanablo here, makim me yet. Awesome season, no me talk. Minister blow me by walking more talk blend behind. Sir, what is the new spirit? What is the new spirit? You may not come up in yet, sir. The new spirit has not been surfaced. I mean, not stop killer. Therefore, me thanking committee blow you come. Committee blow you and blow pining this land new plus spirit. And the spirit, that you talk to spirit, second way. From God. Spirit bombing man. You know, spirit bombing is a lot of bush ground. I'm all too. Me thankful. Both government, only tram, or working all good plan, only working all no good. Me like all outlining where me believe ABG will put down long to. National government, big blah put down is that. You said him send no come clicking me blah. Lucky, Jerry Singro, Rasimol Penis. Bougainville. Time me blah achieving referendum result. Me blah harabaram now. Me blah Ronnie go harabai. Here me go now and mix him independence tomorrow. That's good blah talk picture you blah walk you. Picking you know already yet lo married. You go one time me. Now you me go one time landlord Mary. Now come up in good blah. Doesn't take 2 or 3 days. Doesn't take 2 or 3 days. Our government should have sat down and look at how do I manage my people come out of their trauma. There has never been trauma counseling in Bougainville who came out of a deadly crisis. Start where? Yes, people have been working on reconciliation, ready for our referendum. That has not been completed. He got sample reconciliation. This la government la mipla. He must fund him. He must meet him. So that new spirit prevails. One time, national government come talk sorry la mipla. Time mipla veterans have been vulnerable. Mipla talk this is pre-reconciliation. Time you ratify, I must get national reconciliation. Been come up, ratification come up, 0. Impasse. Impasse. Mimpla kira bito, kisi moderator. Moderator come, Mickey Manam, fail. No, me and fail. Time I fail. You back, how can we continue? I sign a Melanesian agreement. Me not only agree on New Zealand, Tamil bingo. But committee, Papua New Guinea, me fail, or side belongan, plan is something, or marabla colleagues or leaders who talk out finish. Na ABG too, me blah fail. Me blah waklo push, me blah hurry up. Mami talk straight. Me blah waklo push me blah got plenty work yet. Now you national government, fund us. You have failed. Close to 1 or 2 billion kina owing to Bougainville. RDG. No. Him all failure. Me let's long go through all got a 1-1. But 2 big plot. Me believe Papua New Guinea has failed. Long fight him shoulder blow me blah Bougainville. I mean, time I mean, I'll give him this half money. I mean, budget him. I must. I give him partly that's all. Everything I'm making me promise na pay him no backside. I'm no God. I'm no God. Now APG now. Ask him blow me through long bipartisan na me play the leaders in the Noya. Let's relook at how by you me direct him roadmap blow you me. Me yet personally. Doctor, Marata, you will ask him, one am kind time frame. Mahani with him, one is sunny me been like talk long. Time me look, that both governments have not displayed a pathway to attaining the new spirit. Me will said, let's move the time frame. And my recommendation is no earlier than 2030, no later than 2035. Give us between now and 2030 recuperation period. Ogera something must come back. Make must work him good. No rush. No rush. Emblem me one blood. I know there are others who will share the same sentiment. Why rush? Na migo punna no married me by Brook tomorrow. But me talking me straight. Committee blow you. Me, Joe Price. Papa blow me, blow manam. Mama blow me, blow tin puts. How about me Brook na me Lucino land blow me, blow manam. Don't jogari and place blow papa blow. Me go finish the place blow papa blow me. Now tayo talk lo endure. One of something where do you use it? Enduring relationship. Kwan, you talking me how? By Orlando me come no yan na me go lo. Suppose me like cut them tails. Right now in July I brought one of my brothers from Manam comes place from me will swim this la relationship. It must come up good na melo me. Therefore, time frame, you ask him now when? From me, no earlier than 2030, no later than 2035. In this way, you give him, come on, Blomipla, number 5 house, Blomipla, enough time. Lord, deal good one time, people. Hey, Papua New Guinea too, by God, enough time. Lord, deal good one time, issue, Blomipla. So you must focus him, this is a time frame. I think one time this la, sir, Dr. Maran na, team lo yun na, colleague Bougainville, me na polsem, me propose him this la time frame, lugulungan na both gaman, you black consult na imi talk. And I uphold the Melanesian agreement. I'm good pla through. And two pla leaders have been signing. Hey, let me talk because me fail here, fail. Okay, let's sensitively conduct the pathway now to reach an amicable resolution, to reach a new spirit for a new Bougainville. We have not reached a new Bougainville yet. We got to reach that new spirit first. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lo. Very powerful contribution, Bula Musa. You hit him through, yeah. You need him new plus spirit past them for a new Bougainville. Thank you, Thomas. Ipalay biyain him talk Bula yo. Thank you. Oops. All right, Mary past them.
Afternoon.
Hey, afternoon, through.
Thank you. The committee come along mostly. Now member, Mama Franco, it's good to see you again. Tok blame by short. Be like him all people, you must not can lose ting long history blow you me, independence blow you me, even in the 1960s. We start low this time. Matangon Association come. Lorbaul, Breakaway Association, Separation, only loose in the 70s. Papua Besina Movement, Breakaway Movement, only kirap, only loose, die. Bougainville continues. There's no other way. There's no other way. Thank you, Long Kambulo Yupla. Ang simolo ting ting blo mi pla. There's a notion of independence. I think Papua New Guinea in Bougainville Parliament, but especially Papua New Guinea Parliament, must explain to the people of Bougainville what is actually independence. You're not totally independent. You're still dependent on Australia. Australia still sends you heaps of funding. And other donors, countries, you tell us what is independence. Number 2, long M. There is no independent country that is ever alone. Not an island on its own. Ba mi play broke loose, in all the ba mi play katim code, we will create new relationships. Mi play married penis lang yung pla. Pikin nil Bougainville stop penis lang pomos me everywhere lo Papua New Guinea. What makes you think we will leave you? Talking me pla lo Bougainville people. There really is no reason for you long holy me pla. We can stitch up new relationships. Australia stitched up Papua New Guinea, what we call Papua New Guinea today. I mean, consulting all the people of Bougainville. I mean, consulting all the East New Britain people, all Papua Basin movement. Consulting all, stitch us together and said, this is Papua New Guinea. No. We play no to call Sam. We play kisim independence bla me pla. Long heart, mind bla me pla. Well before Papua New Guinea kisim independence bla ngem. Long Australia, 1st of September 1975. So with this, me talking me long one pla fear me got. Long time long Sir late Sir Rabbi Namaliu, government been put him agree long this policy shoot to kill policy. You play rouse him long parliament. He stop yet. Sir Julius Chan and me come. Government long me agree long kisimo long foreign fighters. Mercenaries come long Bougainville. You play rouse him. What is there in the future for Bougainville? Suppose you play Holim Passing. Poret Blomi stop. There could be a worse one. Like him, you played, talking me plastered. Through me play no got all institutions. We don't have a Bougainville University. We don't have a Bougainville Jesus College. Everything is in Papua New Guinea. We have no Bougainville currency. We have no Bougainville passport, meaning foreign affairs. But they shall come when you give us. Suppose you've been ratifying decision, Bougainville, we would have built these things up. You would have given us economic powers to do these things. But yet, Holem is a power, and we are crippled by that. You play Holim Pass, foreign affairs, defense, currency. How can we move without these? Once we have economic powers, we can move. We can trade directly with you, Papua New Guinea, with Australia. Inogat namelman, nogat straight got us all. With respect, we're talking to you now. It's not now 97 or 98.7% people. All get 100% now. 100%. So, asking me now, long yupla. Actually, it's not a question. We like me play that song. Let us go peacefully. Now you helping me play long walk about as an independent nation, like Australia did to Papua New Guinea. Australia set up all institutions. Papua New Guinea stand up long him. Australia stand up all get something. Papua New Guinea stand up long him. And I'm asking the government of Papua New Guinea long walk him. One kind process one time what Australia did to Papua New Guinea before it may come up independent. So here, by me finish long here, but by me last small Sam, what is it that will make me trust you in the future if you don't ratify this? That you will not send a bigger army to kill us. Because one testimony belong, January Singoroki bin Tokol Sam, time all missionaries only been come, only been ready long throw my bomb, whereby I'm sucking oxygen. Now kill him down, me platas all Sam, suck the oxygen, all get me play die. There's a testimony. It went wild long here along Bougainville. His book is 350 kina, I couldn't afford it. Maybe one day I will. Salim Long Pharmacy. But God bless him. Please tell him, Long Bougainville, Heart Long Bougainville, God bless him. He saved us. Thank you. Thank you.
Before you go, could you tell us your name, please? Your name na.
Name me.
Mi sabe you come Buka. That's all. Electly constituency for you.
All right. Name Blomi Ruth Spriggs, former colleague Blomi Sindaunia, Anthony Regan. We play work one time long Australian National University. Crisis come up, man Blomi camp, see me play go work. So me teach long Australian National University for more than 20 years. But at the same time, we've been stopped long technical team long Bougainville. One play Mary, me play been look long how Mary by participate in politics belong Bougainville in the future. So Olomeri put me go inside on technical team. We devised two things. Sorry, legally. We devised what we now enjoy. Our constituency seats, safe seats belong Olomeri. Come inside on our parliament as an educational entrance to politics, the parliament. I typed the whole thing, Lola Mary. Agnes Titus, who was then the minister along transitional government, and we've been tabling the first joint parliament, BRA, na Bougainville transitional government. We also did, how about you, Lola Mary, when you tell me come up independent, cut loose long Papua New Guinea Women's Council. We play come up in this, me play that now. Bougainville Women's Federation. Thank you, long ask him. We come lot here, we stop lot tune pets, ground blow mama long hub, our constituency blow me, swear. Thank you very much. If you want to know more, we can have a cup of tea. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Me remember him you from university days. Okay. Thank you. Name below you. Name below where?
Good afternoon, Chairman, Committee. Name below me, I'm Stephen Kopana. Me from Buin. Me 72 years old. And then me been young black boy. Time me play protest long 75. It's a people independence. Pre-independence, Bougainville, even declared UDI long 1st September 1975. So me looking now, currently me looking, that Papua New Guinea to me fail. Me like strong him talk along 80, Stanbon Bougainville, 80 talk out. Now look at the nervous speaker talk out, me strong him talk long. But me like talk also. Papua New Guinea has failed its people. Papua New Guinea is a protector belong rights and assistance belong Papua New Guinea. And me protector belong rights and resources belong people belong Papua New Guinea. But then become a protector belong multinational company, CRA. Now me killing 20,000 people's life. That's very, no good too much. So Papua New Guinea has caused human rights violations. Me, I went through many negotiations along New Zealand, Australia, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Bougainville. So me tight now. Me like die now. Plan di pait man, iwoklon die now. Gamani talk, rouse him gun, nami ba rouse him gun. So, osem President Pai semi talk. New spirit, new Bougainville, or new Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea is sparing its people as well. Okay, me like talking committee also. You are here to judge with your 5 senses. You buy harim, buy go out. Buy you look him, now you go. Use your brain. You don't scale him. Scale him, now look him. What the people of Bougainville like him. Only die for a cause long independence. There's no other way. I was here 80 talk, yeah? So me like sana blong ya. Now me ask him, you, long scaling good. Ratification is a means of endorsement. Me ba go New Zealand, me ba talk. One time Bill skate. Me play passing part 14, yeah? Long BNC Constitution. So there's no other way. So me like sana blong ya na me talk. You miss sharing ideas, go through the joint supervisory body. Now you ratify him, endorse him, like natin tim from people from Bougainville. Thank you na God can blessing me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. May pala use him head na to kita something ya. O kita talk. Everything is recorded. So talk blo you. One time all kita narap la tu. Mo kita something. All sabi man blo ni pala long. All wireless na power. All the recording is stop because we will do a report. Lo chairman by table lo parliament. So all kita something. Me pala record him. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Yumi Olgata Kam Bung Lawyer. Thank you, Chairman Dr. Alan Marat, Dr. Pukatemu, sorry, Governor Mutivel, na Mama Franco. Thank you, lo team Blue Blakam Lawyer, lo Kishim Ting Ting, na Sawe lo line lo people of Bougainville, name Blomi Gordon Batek. Originally me belong Isipik. But crisis he make him na merry go paini mi na mi kam lawyer. So time mi kam stop lawyer. This la referendum been take place. Mi kam up lawyer lo 2006. Mi stop lawyer mi arim story lo walk about ting na like belong all people lawyer lo Bougainville. To pla government i talk i go i come lo 2019 to pla decide on a constitutional guaranteed referendum. Lo tupla option where only put in tupla government, greater autonomy na independence. Na only people only go out long election. Na result he come up long 97.7% where ting na like na hard long people he like ego. So suppose committee suppose government he talk no God lo give him independence lo Bougainville. Na bayupla make him one lo this result where all people he talk them through lo ballot box. Long all people lo Bougainville since me come lo here with due respect committee. All man lo Bougainville they are thinkers. All man lo ting. All in you talk. So time all man sa ting. A more dangerous man straight long old man is our open mouth na talk. So tang yumi walk him decision lo parliament. Talk was by ratifying this result where people talk long ballot box. Me like ask him. You play by ratify him on him again time like people talk finish lo ballot box. Where two government he agree. Government you talk independence. ABG talk greater autonomy. Na time you me put him lo floor, people blo Bougainville decide long independence. No got nar problem or something independence lo Bougainville. Na suppose government thing no got long people blo Bougainville committee ngating you play defeat him you play yet. Lo result where you play put him or think you play put him lo independence. You play beat him you play yet. Lo result where people like him. Now people of Bougainville have all the rights. Lo kisim yubla, long all get a narplor way means lo like na ting blongol. So misana blong ya, ating planting man boli kam lo ya, all be talk lo same ting too. Long independence lo Bougainville. What me like remind also. Time all go through lo AV lo ya lo Bougainville. Me no been looking one province. He supply him kai na give him long time will stop lo AV. Only sana blong strong na like blong for 10 years in abisla AV and finish. So what more do we want from them? Na time you come lo year. You come thinking the very people that voted for 97.7%. I'm going to sit down lo year. So what more do you guys want from us? The only thing now is to educate the young ones up at the national parliament, tell them the history, how Bougainville go through in a AV Piney Mall. That's what we want. Because the people of Bougainville, I repeat myself, have spoken through the Constitution guaranteed referendum vote for independence in Bougainville. Thank you, committee. Want more line blue, lo kam lo here. But me reminding you again, These are the same people that casted their vote for independence of Bougainville. Thank you, na God bless you.
Thank you, Thomas. Former regional member, Abinantro.
Thank you. Thank you, committee lo kam. Thank you lo work lo make him around him. Country lo kisim support lo parliament. Tayo mo dikilia lo information yung plawo ko salim. Lo miyet meeting. Independent yung mikisim finish. Lo result. Sampla tok-tok siya yumino kisim yet. Patati tu pala government only been fail. Lo tayo mo trap the peace agreement. Oli silip one time na oli kamapil sa pikin ni oli koli peace agreement. Na di sa peace agreement i make him na yumiwok lo fight. And bring him in constitutionality come inside. Ratification. Now we bring him in development, nation building as prerequisites of independence. I think that's where they went wrong. Two governments, one plus government. We need to find answer to it. Like, suppose we should have time frame when we should get independence. They missed it. They left it hanging like a flying fox. They didn't guide us. Two governments, they didn't guide us inside this plan, joint creation peace agreement. So today, we are arguing about process. There are many processes. ABC's position, they are basing it on the result. Because you mean independent finish. So we're going to give him Tasol. Whether we are ready or not, just give it to us. Now you make him. By administrative nation building. The only thing is there's no guarantee to fix the nation building pillars after we get independent. And by depend on leadership. Suppose leadership is good plan. And they know how things work in government. People can fix it. If not, by only fail long service, providing service to all of people can rise up again. And result, that's another option. Another option is a slow one, which the timetable should have guided. Like, look at the nation building pillars, 7 of them. Politics, economics, law and order, social, spiritual, cultural, na infrastructure. That's what the peace agreement talk. After referendum, you frustrate him this plan. Ratification come by easy wrong. It's a long process now. People don't like him. That's why they are saying, because majority overwhelming population voted. Just give it to us. And then, people are yet. Look, straight tomorrow, this will appeal us. Because independence will be truly felt by people of Bougainville when they drink out of the 7 pillars. That's the meaning of independence. No can talk politics, that's all. If people drink out of the 7 pillars of nation building, they feel, they see, they taste, and they hear independence in their lives. Time only suffer yet, which is this option of give it to us. Now give him. And by that problem, if people are suffering, or say you pula talk, time papa salim give him tasol, loli lo pikini. Na ino ready mem, na ino check him lo check him na walk him garden, or in walk him house. And by this nakama. So it's 2 options. One is put the horse before the cut. Ralim hosi pulim cut. That's the extreme peace agreement tok lang. Fixing mo pilas. By all people hamamas na kibi mo down in flag trasol. Independence you make simpilis. Down in flag na putin bro you ko anta. The second option is put the cat before the horse. So you be by this side, which is the better intelligent option. Putting the cat before the horse. Na cat by pulim yumi to independence, nothing. If you put the horse before the cat, and by pulim yumi, which means fix the 7 nation building pillars. So you make at home. Just fix those things. You can give it to us. Or maybe throw a new timeline. Definite timeline by me plan, okay, fight. Because already we are independent. But maybe we are not ready in the 7 pillars. So making all the 7 pillars work. One of the things that people ABC side been failing last how many years? Time you've been vote 97.7. We were winners. We won independence. But we were going to PNC with nothing. No, this plus 7 pillars. We were not smart. We should turn that win into conditions. We should do plans in all those that go talking PNC. Because you put in this peace agreement, fund him on this road. We should do our homework. The ministers in government. Na kurong PNC na salim. Na talking more funding mipla. Not this handout. It come nothing. And you may not got plan. You are wasting money on us building the country. You should give money based on our plans in the 7 nation building pillars. And that's one area. Mipla ABC 2 pin fail. Na Papua New Guinea 2 fail. Or treating you me. Or wako giving you me lowly yet. Ma you me win finish. We should turn that win in the referendum to our advantage. We should go to PNC and tell them, sili mo kita road, build mo universities. All the ministers in those departments should do these things and dictate the terms to them. Don't let them dictate. Then we want a win-win. And I think that's an area that the Melanesian approach can look at. You can also look at conducting the reconciliation, Melanesian way. But somewhere there you have to find answers. People are really frustrated because the referendum result, which is not featured in the peace agreement, they are basing it on it. So why the waste of time? Just give it to us whether we are ready or not. That's the answer. You provide by him na. Come up in some way forward. And ask Chef Buka, they should bring to you their plans in the 7 nation building pillars. So PNC, you fund the plan. Don't treat us like empty. We are smart people. If you ask, we should, but we were not smart in the last how many years? We were going to PNC as failures. We must show that strength that people are independent finish. You give us to prepare us because you put in a peace agreement. Give us the money and we do it. Now, only giving nothing, no got plan, you may work on misuse. Thank you, Loharan.
Chairman, I'll just
Thank
make
you, Drew.
make an intervention. Sorry, before the next speaker, I want to make a couple of interventions because
the committee would want some discussion on some of these issues that will form the basis of our report. I know your position is very, very clear, but the committee would want to know some of the matters that we would want an opinion, particularly from this audience. It's one of the biggest that we've ever had in our consultation process. So I thank every one of you for coming. The first issue is in section 1.5 of the Melanesian Agreement under the subsection of joint commitments. That agreement states like this, and I'll read it because many of you don't have the agreement. It reads like this. The parties agree that the process for bringing the referendum results to the National Parliament will be by way of a sessional order as determined by the National Parliament. The second sentence is the most important, and this is where some of the inputs need to be communicated to the committee. And that is, the sessional order will be recommended by the speakers of both the National Parliament and the Bougainville House of Representatives. So there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done by both our speakers. And those of you who have the legal minds, the committee is asking for your input to your Speaker of the House of Representatives and the Clerk of the House of Representatives. Because this agreement is whatever the format that the sessional order will take has to be agreed upon by both speakers. So there is, for those of you who may not be aware of what this sessional order is that we may not be able to allow the referendum result to go to the floor of Parliament through the normal standing orders of the Parliament. And therefore, a vehicle will be created called a sessional order, but it must be agreed upon. And some of you have had some of the arguments between our current Deputy President and Attorney General and our minister on the other side on this sessional order issue. Therefore, we've got an international independent moderator to come in because of those disagreements. So we want to manage the process and we want some commentary on your part. The second issue that I want to highlight is that knowing the serious position of the people of Bougainville as reflected in the 97.7% vote, that 2.3 of the principles that were signed in the Melanesian Agreement, I just want to highlight it because I want us to have some open discussion about this 2.3 issue. And it reads like this. The parties shall accept the decision of the National Parliament in the first instance regarding the referendum result and commit to further consultation if required and agreed according to an agreed time frame. You can see the implications of this agreement. This is why the committee has put a second question, and I haven't heard anybody, because you are all committed, people must vote for independence. It's not the national government that is going to vote. I want to clarify that. It's a national parliament. It's a national parliament. National parliament is both opposition and government. And so, as per the agreement, whatever the result, yes or no, the agreement says we must accept the decision in the first instance and continue to commit ourselves to further consultation. And so, the openness that I'm asking for you, some suggestions. I mean, the issue is the Parliament, and your position is very clear. The Parliament must have a defendable reason to say no. That's what you are telling us. It cannot say no for nothing. And the parliament, individual members, and disagreement. So I want some comments on 2.3. If parliament says either way, we need to now progress, and how are we going to manage it here in Bougainville, and how are we going to manage it in mainland? Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Behind by your camera, you talk, but you make him pass some law. Gentlemen, you talk. Your name, constituency, no.
Right.
Because everything you say is recorded.
Okay, thank you. Name Lomi, I'm Simeon Kuheu. I will be presenting to the Bipartisan Committee. It's a long document, but after the presentation, I will present the written document to the committee. And I'm standing here on behalf of the office I'm engaged to, Bougainville Strategic Research Planning and Monitoring Secretariat. So on behalf of the office, I'll be presenting. Thank you. Okay. Mi ba refocusim tok blo mi bla go back lo two pla question blo you play round one time. So if mi black can have it on that two questions. Question one, but me just read him here. Question one, it's a long document, but I will briefly go through what I have to say here and present a detailed one to the committee. Question one, if the parliament decides to ratify the referendum results in favor of independence, how will we manage this process? Over what agreed period of time? Okay. And the second question, there's also a subsidiary questions, but second question, if it's just the opposite of the first one. If Parliament decides not to ratify the referendum results in favor of independence, how can both sides manage this through peaceful means? Okay. Before me starting, by me talk some the stands for Bougainvillians and the people, civil society is independence, and they have spoken, and I may to serve it. But the two questions given, this is two block question all given me, do not intend to understand the historical, political, legal, environment, and human rights issue on which the desire of Bougainville political independence is rooted. Instead, the questions are intended to solicit ways of not endorsing the referendum results and managing the fallout. And one kind of solution time, Doctor, sabi lo sick blo man tok mane head pain, doctor head pain. Patient head pain. I'm saying marasin should give him Panadol. But then I'm kirap ask him, why pa me give him again Panadol? Furthermore, the two questions and subsidiary questions are intended to delay Bougainville independence. The committee must understand how long Bougainvillians have seeking to reclaim the birthright of political independence that was stolen by colonizers and passed on to Papua New Guinea, the PNG. Let me give him some points here. The yearning for Bougainville independence dates back to when Germany and England extricated Bougainville from Solomon Islands. That was about 139 years, well before the country of PNG came to be. The events that led to Bougainville crisis started in 1969 with exploration of the Panguna, some 56 years, and the annexation of land in Loloho and Arawa. Number 3 point, the environment and human rights abuse in Panguna came to a head in 1989 when the militants started dynamiting the mine infrastructure some 36 years ago. Me give him all dates, me black and note him. After lengthy negotiation, the Bougainville Peace Agreement was signed in 2001, some 24 years ago. The referendum results of 97.7 vote for independence was declared on December 11, 2019. That was some 6 years ago. The referendum consultation have been ongoing since 2021. For 4 years now. So, me like losing question or some. How many more years is PNG going to deny Bougainville for the universal rights? Me repeating again. How many more years is PNG going to deny Bougainvilleans their universal rights? Now by me go lo question 1. Question 1, me got 2 points to give him based on question 1. A, the point A, me to call some. Parliament has no other legitimate choice. You know that, Narapla, other than to ratify the referendum vote in favor for independence. B blong em kirap na to sem. Reasons why Parliament has no other legitimate choice. Why me blato ko sem PNG em no other reason lo talk no lo disla question 1. Disla 97.7 ya why em no other reason lo talk no. Em must ratify. Number 1 because international conventions. List him go down em to sem such as international conventions on civil and political rights, the international conventions on social, economic, and cultural rights, the United Nations Charter, and various human rights treaty and conventions, which has ratified and must uphold to maintain its international credibility. Suppose emino uphold him, then Papua New Guinea definitely losing international credibility belong him. Number 2 point is the Papua New Guinea Constitution, PNG Constitution, Part 14 of the Constitution. And we give him consequently a legitimated exercise of people's democratic rights. Time Constitution and we guarantee him people to vote. Then why Papua New Guinea talk no God? He must talk yes. Number 3, I'm go down na to kusem. The MMO reasons, me will give more reasons why Papua New Guinea must talk no God. You probably behind me, huh? So me will read him. The planning and conduct of the referendum was conditioned on Bougainville 1, containing weapons disposal and demonstrating good governance through ABG. Weapon disposal was witnessed and managed by United Nations, and the other good governance was successfully observed by 2 international reviews of Bougainville Autonomous Arrangement, MLO 2012, GOLO 2018. Okay, the perceived action of not ratifying the referendum result for independence is like a penalizing a school kid for achieving excellent result at school because Bougainville meeting all the course blow BPA already. All the terms and conditions blow BPA, Bougainville meeting finish. So definitely Papua New Guinea has to ratify. Okay. So on that note, the 97.7 in the referendum the 2 legitimate actions only been taken. In other words, suppose you look him 97.7. No number also you count him 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that figure is a legal figure. Guarantee by constitution, guarantee. So Papua New Guinea has to say yes and ratify. Narapla, and this is very important law, mipla ogara law understand him da. Next point, reason why I talk must ratify him is the universal suffrage principle of 1 person, 1 vote. Me repeat him again, the universal suffrage principle of 1 person, one vote that resulted in the 97.7%. Okay, inside of this 176,928 people, Bougainvilleans, will be vote for independence. Now 3,043 will be vote for greater autonomy. Now 1,043 will be invalid ballot papers. So on that basis, which one is got high? Suppose 118 members of the parliament, PNG parliament, versus this 176,928 Bougainvilleans. Suppose no ratify him. Is it democratic? Me ask him committee now. Is it democratic? Is it democratic? Suppose only no ratify? No, nowhere near. No at all. So therefore, it is this universal suffrage principle law and me guarantee Bougainville 97.7 only must ratify. You got based law this laba mito kosem the 97.7% is just high as the Mount William. You like climb Guanta by your hat, so you look tasol na ito. Please give him all. Some questions, me talk pa me no go through because low timing. Me like go question 2 na me give him. Some comments lo question 2 na pa me sit down. Question 2, me black and look him question 2. Suppose question 2 go up, but this questions, another question long me talk. What are options considered over what period of time? This last statement, this is a moot point, as other options were already considered and rejected when planning for referendum. Na Honorable Sheikh Buka knows this very well, because he was the Minister for Bougainville Affairs during the referendum. It is again misuses of PNG government to ask such question, which clearly demonstrates the lack of genuineness of the national government. So, Parliament must ratify. Parliament must clearly articulate that if not ratify, Parliament must clearly articulate the reason why and by not ratifying. Part 14 of the Part 14 of the National Constitution emi allowing the sol Bougainville. Ino narapla. So plantiman sa tok olsem nogut narapla igolsem no and by no because this la emi belong Bougainville tasol. The Constitution therefore allows only Bougainville to contemplate and seek political independence. The Constitution has therefore already foresaw the political independence of Bougainville and must now consequently complete the journey by according Bougainville its political independence. Otherwise, the PNG Constitution will become a Giaman document. Bougainville will not accept the referendum vote not been ratified in favor of independence, but we will not fight ourselves because our enemy in such eventually will be the state of PNG, not the citizen of PNG. So suppose you worry also, you have cash Sipig, or you have cash Manam, or you have cash Manuso, or me have cash Koroka. So suppose me have cash Koroka na mi worry how pa miximol pigin kam o tambu kam. No, me plan no bringing boundary na melo families. This is me enemy blom blame state. Me just clear remolsem. Is PNG planning to invade the moment it denies Bougainville? It's overdue. Bougainville. Last plan ami by finish. Sorry, look sim long pla time blue plan. number 3 question, emi personal. Question blow this la office me play bring him come him to us. Is Bougainville better off with PNG? Bougainville ba alright to? Time emi stop him yet. Number 1 emi to him. PNG has recently celebrated 50 years as an independent nation. Over the years, it has made some significant strides in education, health, and some areas of economy, infrastructure, and its wealth has also grown mainly due to oil and gas in Southern Highlands and the Gulf of Papua. The population has grown during this period with an estimated population of between 10 to 12 citizens, most of whom are youths with limited employment opportunities, which has fueled the growth in law and order issue around the country. Close to being finished. The increased law and order, especially, let me frankly read him this last sentence. The increase in law and order, especially the highlands of New Guinea, has resulted in the large migration into Port Moresby, Lae, Medang, Wewak, and Kokopo, bringing with them the highlands mobs' rule behavior. So much that peaceful towns like Alotau, Medang, and Kokopo are no longer peaceful. To reiterate the words of former member for Goroka in the National Parliament, Honorable Bire Kimisopa M. Togolsem, PNG is not safe country anymore. There are forefathers fought for. What am I trying to say here? Last point, me like Togolsem. Me read him this land just to say Bougainville has learned its lessons from the 50 years of independence under PNG. We have learned a lot. Some problem me black close to Kela come up now. We have learned a lot. Having analyzed 50 years of Bougainville independence under PNG, it is soundly concluded that Bougainville's future is clearly better outside Papua New Guinea nation framework. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Now, Bami, present him this land.
Present him report bolo you come. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Written submission bolo you. Yeah. Sorry, Mil. Thank you very much.
Thank you, esteemed committee of the National Parliament. You are welcome to Bougainville, and I want to tell our people here, it is a good thing that they are here, so that we give them the right information that they will give to the national parliamentarians, so that they can make a good vote. So, Mr. Chairman and committee, my name is Robert Chika Tulsa. I am a former member of the ABT of the State House, where we delivered the referendum vote. I will make a substantive statement regarding the issue of ratification that is before the National Parliament. It is a must that we must give the right information to our parliamentarians, because we, the people of Bougainville, we delivered the vote. So I've done a bit of research, and I will present my statement to you. Statement on the ratification mandate, a semantic and constitutional analysis to the Parliamentary Bipartisan Committee on the Bougainville referendum result. My statement addresses the fundamental assumption underlying the committee's questions, specifically regarding the National Parliament's role in the ratification of the Bougainville referendum result. It is my submission that the question before the National Parliament is not one of choice, as simple to ratify or not to ratify. but rather a constitutional and political obligation to confirm and implement the expressed will of the people of Bougainville. I will mention 4 points in relation to the body of my statement in regard to the 2 questions. The first point that I will raise is the semantic integrity of ratification. Secondly, the mandate of the plebiscite and international precedent. Thirdly, to redirect our focus, the focus of the National Parliament and ABT to the implementation part of this issue. And lastly, my fourth point is on the path forward, defining the implementation roadmap. The semantic integrity of ratification. The foundation of the Bougainville Peace Agreement rests on precise, negotiated language. Clause 311, Part A of the BPA states, the amendments will provide that the outcome will be subject to ratification, final decision-making authority of the national government. The term ratification carries a clear and binding meaning in legal, political, and common language. Dictionary definition: to make a treaty, agreement, or confirmation officially valid, usually by signing or formally confirming it. Thesaurus root meaning. The core synonyms point toward acceptance, confirmation, validation, and assent. If the intent of the negotiators of the BPA was to reserve for the National Parliament the right to unilaterally reject the result, the appropriate term would have been veto and approval, or acceptance and rejection. The deliberate use of the ratification implies a binding confirmation of a process that has already occurred, provided that process, the referendum, was free, fair, and credible. The 97.7% vote for independence has already confirmed the result. The Parliament's role is to provide the constitutional mechanism to formally validate this outcome. The semantic integrity of the BPA dictates that ratification is the act of making the plebiscite decision valid, not making a new decision in its place. My second point, the mandate of the plebiscite and international precedent. The 97.7% vote is an irrefutable democratic mandate. It is a decision of such overwhelming magnitude that it transcends ordinary political debate and takes on the character of a plebiscite decision that is final in its expression of popular will. To not ratify this result would be to, one, undermine the spirit of the BPA. The peace agreement was the mechanism to resolve conflict through a pathway to self-determination. To reject the outcome of that pathway would violate the fundamental trust upon which the peace was built. To not ratify this result would be a disregard for democratic principles. The scale of the vote reflects the clear desire of the Bougainville people to use ratification
as a mechanism for rejection would devalue the core democratic process that Papua New Guinea stands for. And lastly, to not ratify the result is a risk for future stability. The rejection of such a conclusive vote would inevitably be perceived as an abrogation of the agreement, seriously jeopardizing the peace achieved and potentially destabilizing the region. I will continue on to my third point, redirecting the focus to implementation. Given the constitutional obligation implied by the ratification, this committee's meaningful deliberation should therefore be focused solely on question 1. If the Parliament decides to ratify the referendum result in favor of independence, how will we manage the process over what agreed period of time? The role of this committee and the National Parliament is not to debate whether to accept the independence vote, but to collaboratively determine the how and the when of the transition. Our focus must be on developing the joint roadmap for independence, defining the security, economic, and political mechanisms required for the agreed-upon period of time. Question 2, which presupposes the possibility of rejection if Parliament decides not to ratify. It is incompatible with the semantic meaning of ratification and the moral and political authority of the referendum result. The only peaceful and constitutional path forward is the acceptance and structured implementation of the mandate. My last point, point number 4, the path forward, defining the implementation roadmap. Given the semantic and constitutional imperative of ratification, the committee's sole focus must be on the peaceful, structured implementation of the result that is in question 1. I submit the following points for managing the transition. First of all, we must have a defined transition period. An agreed fixed transition period, for example, of 2 to 5 years, must be established immediately upon ratification. This period allows sufficient time for the orderly transfer of powers and capacity building without undue delay. Secondly, joint supervisory body mandate. The JSB should be given a clear resourced mandate to develop a detailed phased roadmap for independence, focusing on 3 key areas. First of all, peaceful transition, phasing out PNG financial support and establishing a secure revenue stream for Bougainville. Secondly, security transition, formalizing border arrangements, maritime security, and the peaceful transfer of law enforcement responsibilities. And lastly, treaty and legislative transfer, determining how international treaties and existing Papua New Guinea laws will be adopted or replaced. Structured dialogue, transparency and structured dialogue between the PNG and ABG parliaments must continue throughout the transition period to manage any unforeseen challenges collaboratively. That's my 4 points that I have mentioned, but now I will conclude. Mr. Chairman of the esteemed committee, the evidence from the Bougainville Peace Agreement text and the absolute democratic force of the referendum confirms that the National Parliament is called upon to perform an act of constitutional confirmation. The question of rejection, question 2, is a dangerous distraction from the constitutional mandate of ratification. The only pathway forward that respects the BPA, upholds the peace, and honors democratic intent is to proceed with the formal ratification of the result and dedicate all effort to the successful managed implementation outlined in a joint transition roadmap. The national government's role is clear: to uphold the integrity of the Bougainville Peace Agreement by ratifying, that is, formally accepting and confirming the democratic will of the people of Bougainville. The time for debating the result has passed. The time for implementing the transition is now. And that's it. That's my submission to the committee. Thank you very much. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. After a gentleman speaks, by mga legally break, you can break and continue after the break. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you, esteemed members of this panel. It's an important part of the process that has been set in place by the two governments to allow the National Parliament to be properly informed. So on that note, it plays a very important part. How much you have actually worked out in terms of what you need to address. I mean, you have been to other centers. This seems to be your first one, but I've heard what your members have said about certain issues that you probably need some filling in. So I'd like to address those issues. But I'd like to just preface that I'm from Bougainville, I'm from the Atolls, I'm from Morlock, and I've been a career public servant, a lawyer by profession who have partaken in this whole peace process way back to time crisis come up. So that's a little bit of background. Firstly, on the sub-agreement, maybe I'll go back to the sovereignty issue, Chairman, you mentioned. And I think you are correct in pointing out that technically any government can delimit its own sovereignty by giving part of a country or part of to exercise those rights. And in this case, you have also mentioned that by the very fact that the Papua New Guinea is a member of the United Nations and being a party to the United Nations Convention, International Convention on social, political rights, and also, cultural rights. Those two conventions, international conventions, are the important convention for the purpose of your deliberations in terms of the international law. International law, Article 1 of that convention, is replicated in the Constitution of Papua New Guinea. 338, where Bougainvilleans are given the right to determine their future political status. Article 1 in the United Nations Conventions, two operative words. You decide to determine your future, and you actually make the decision. Those are two activities that must happen before that right is seen as being available to you under international law. Now, PNG has done that. Through the grace of a good parliament, back in what year it was able to approve the changes to the Constitution of Papua New Guinea to allow independence as an issue to be addressed. As an issue to be addressed if there is any concerns about the right of certain people, to determine their own future. So that right has been given under 338. So there is no question at all So if there is any member in parliament who's are going to come and say, no, we are not bound by that. Sorry, you are bound by 338. You have given the right to Bougainville to determine the field. You are bound to do that. Now, it comes now, I will address the question of what is the role of the parliament. As we come to that point, I'll highlight the issues. Now, when that right has been given to Bougainvilleans exercised that right 219 under the due process of that process, allowed 40 days for appeal for anyone who might want to object to the results that have been given at the time. No one has appealed. So what do we say? What do we say? And then again, when you go back to the issue of when this matter was brought up regarding the consultation that must happen between the two governments, when the two sides took the consultation from Kokopo to Wabeg, the question ought to have been asked by the national government, why are we talking about a timeline? They should have opposed it right there and then about the timeline for the window that Bougainvilleans were asking between 2020, 25 and 27. So that's the window that the national government has agreed to. So it cannot come to the party and say, sorry, I must have dreamed or I must have made a mistake. Please forgive me. So has the parliament the role to say, look, you naughty boy, why did you stand up for the rights of the Papua New Guineans? You should have stood up as a government and declined to sort of go along with the idea of a timeline for the implementation of independence. Now we are talking about Era Kone Covenant. Era Kone Covenant is the roadmap for implementation. And that's why Bougainville is talking about 2027, September, because it has already been agreed to by the two parties. So no one party can, just come to the table and say, sorry, I ought to have been smarter, a little bit smarter at that time. But I was not. Is this what we are dealing with? I think that this is. That's exactly what it is. So now I come to the point about the role of Parliament. Sepukatema, you mentioned, it has to be done by a sessional order. And that sessional order, the normal practice is for parliaments to use its standing orders, normal standing orders. But in a situation like this, everywhere in the Western democratic world, they come up with a device, a sessional order that applies only for the purpose of talking about a special subject matter. And where the subject matter might need certain decisions or actions that might go out of the normal way things ought to be done under the standing orders. So that is, we've got the sessional order being agreed to by this process, by this process, JSB. JSB has agreed that is the process that we will use. Okay, going back to Benham. Going to Benham, the Melanesian Agreement talks about this matter being handled delicately so that we do not come to this process. And I agree with the chairman when I heard the chairman talk in Burnham that let's get away from all these legal complications and talk about the Melanesian spirit. So if we are looking about devising a proper process, then we must be able to sort of craft out a process where it reflects the way we deal with our understanding, moving forward as a people. How do we deal with that? How do we say, okay, in terms of this question here, this 342 presumes that the parliament will make certain decisions, okay? Now that the decision is after they have deliberated on the matters that are actually brought in. The matters that are brought in are not only concerning the technical aspects of the referendum, but also the results of the exchanges that has happened outside, which is going to come through the the joint consultation that will come through the Erakone Covenant. And that Erakone Covenant is supposed to sort of say, look, these are all the things that you need to also worry about. So how do we craft out a situation in Parliament where the Parliament can do its job without actually getting complicated in the legal, technical aspects of the whole thing? That's the very important issue that we are dealing with. We must go over the issue of the legal, technical aspects of the thing. Because, if I can say this, Bougainville is also a party, the House of Representatives is also a party to Part 14. Part 14 cannot be amended by the Parliament itself alone. It has to be also consulted through the House of Representatives here. So you can see the scheme of things are done in such a way that no one party can simply say, no, I'm going to do it my way. It's being precluded by that, because that is the whole intention of it. And as the Vice President said this morning, when he talks about 276, 276 is about applying this, the Part 14 only to Bougainville. Okay, it doesn't concern any other provinces. So there is no point to actually discuss this whole thing in the context of what can be done also for other provinces. That has to be brought up in a separate session. But the subject matter of that the Parliament that needs to deal with must concern only how it will actually realize what the parties have decided. The parties, Bougainville, have already voted independence. And as far as I'm concerned, that is done. There is no way at all anyone can actually change that decision. What the Parliament is supposed to do after that is only to look at how it can implement. It can implement it. You cannot implement it by actually sort of asking the fundamental questions about whether there should be something like this independence in the first place. No, you can't. You're precluded. So this is the thing about this whole scheme of things. Under this Part 14, it is peculiar to Bougainville. And it's not supposed to be talked about in the context of other areas. I know a lot of members will come and say, look, I want to also have something like this. But that should be clear from at least this committee that you are dealing with what concerns only Bougainville. So this is the point about the Melanesian agreement agreed to in Burnham, and that is that we've got to think outside the box when it comes to looking at the kind of resolution to this whole thing. Now, first thing you will notice is that if you are going to go to Parliament and ask us very similar questions that you will ask in Parliament about this is what the Parliament must decide. The Prime Minister has always said, will Bougainville accept Parliament making a decision? And as the Attorney General, the Attorney General, now Vice President, has said, the question really is not that. The question is really, it's not about what the Parliament will do, but do you accept what has already happened? So that's the important part of this whole thing. So when it comes to drafting out the the sessional order, it must be reflective of what people are able to grapple with, so that they may be able to answer the question. But not in this kind of way, because if you are going to get the parliament to basically throw it out, you don't have the parliament does not have the right. Does not have the right to do that. The Constitution has already said that it shall be done this way. All it can do is say, look, we will do it this way and we'll find some way to do it. But not actually to throw it out. So the idea of Parliament having a veto power, that's not a concept that is applicable. That concept does not apply in this situation. So I'd like to lastly say that all the answers are not here yet. But it's important that the Parliament, your committee, steer the Parliament to sort of acknowledge the fact that it needs to be flexible to accommodate the kind of things that you need to bring along to the Parliament through the Melanesian agreement, whatever we have, framework, so that it can be worked out once and for all. So I'd like to appeal that this is not a matter of mathematical accuracy or something like that. If you look at the whole thing, it's about looking at the wisdom. Is it okay that after so many years, Bougainvilleans have agreed to, Papua New Guinea Parliament has agreed to it, for it to now just throw it away? I don't think that's what's intended. It is intended that people will look at it and sort of massage the whole thing as it goes on until some final solution is worked out. And especially in this agreement here, in the Melanesian agreement about the, what is it? It's talking about the, yes. So what that means is that we have to be very, very careful. Rather than sort of jumping to a conclusion and say, look, I think it's a matter of, the right or wrong answer. It's a matter of trying to balance things as we go along. And I think that is the way that this whole thing is, in other words, trying to commit us to, so that we work out something so that we don't have to quarrel over these things. We cannot change the situation right now. People are so intermixed right now, so the best way forward is to have an intelligent way forward, and so that we can come up with a peace that we can be proud of. Thank you.
Can I seek your brain on your views? Number one is the issue of sessional order. I am worried about the structure that will take place on the sessional order. And one of the concerns that I'm seeing is we are trying to use the sessional order, for example, to try and make a decision through a normal voting system. Is that the way to do it? We must pose the question. Should we let the parliament to vote, or is there another way, the Melanesian way?
Thank you very much.
Why do we have to create a sessional order and allow members of parliament to vote?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right.
Why don't we not vote it, but the normal way is agree through the Melanesian framework that this is the way we are going to move towards independence, and we allow the vote to process through the constitutional process.
Absolutely.
And avoid a vote.
Yeah.
I think that
Yes.
has to be discussed.
I think that's very, very good observation. We've actually been talking about that. But in terms of trying to get it into any agreement, as you know, it can be very, very difficult to have something in an agreement. But the ideas are there. The ideas are there, and so if we can continue to explore these things, we can find the answers to them. Thank you.
I think, Kapi, I just wanted maybe like make you one really comment as well. Having listened to everything that you've said, thank you. Me walk look back walk about the Bougainville come and PNG from the peace agreement they come coming up now where you missed up long him. And Bougainville has really kept to the peace agreement, meticulously walking the peace agreement. Now you may mark him 1st of September 2027 is the date. Now me come back, now me talk. So we are coming up with new talk. But we keep on forgetting in the peace agreement it says independence for Bougainville, not before 2025, no later than 2027. So me, I quietly sit and I say, we're coming up with new things altogether. Have we forgotten the agreement between the two governments that says in the peace agreement, 15 years down the line, we will take a referendum. And then when we take the referendum, you may look long results long. Then we must not forget talk promise na melo tupla government talk also independence for Bougainville not before 2025 and not later than 2027. Just a reminder that you may walk about him go through this walk about from Dr. Pukatemu. Again, something that the two governments are looking at, maybe by coming with this agreement. But with this agreement, we're going to look at now one kind talk pisin through, one kind new pla or talk now, one kind new pla walk about now, but two pla government by talk. And so, with Pukatemu saying, do we really need to take the vote on the floor of the parliament? Shouldn't we come up with something totally amicable, a Melanesian way? And I am a firm believer in saying that, in thinking that there are no wrong ways, no right ways, there's only workable ways. And I have faith and I believe this is what we should come up with while we go through this process. You know got one pla roti no good, you know got one pla roti good pla. You got rota so long, you me holy man, na talk. We can collectively do it that way, still keeping to that brotherhood, still keeping to that enduring agreement, enduring relationship. Yes. We better not forget, we must not forget what is stipulated in the peace agreement. Independence for Bougainville, not before 2025, not later than 2027. That's why a couple of months, years ago, 2 years ago, we said 1st of September 2027 is the date. Me talk pushing the so long, bringing me come back, talk. Now talk is Japanese. Not before 2027, not later than 2020, not before 2025, not later than 2027. Chairman, do we take a break?
Yeah. I wholeheartedly
You
agree
pray
with
like
you.
in break or
Thank you, Chairman.
you may continue.
Lunch is ready.
Oh, lunch is cold, huh? Yeah, I think you may break 10 minutes, all right? 10 minutes or so. Kim sampla ting halibim long committee ken ting imol semba ol kata tok bolo yu bali recordim. Ino recording below them something, but lo mipela committee lo make sure that your views are properly presented to Parliament in the final report. So I'd like start.
Any member any member wants to add up? Okay, please. Thank you.
All right,
thank you, Thomas.
you got one palaman like talk now. You must talk out lo name below you na constituency below you.
Thank you to Chairman. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Blong, panel. Olga Liederman Blo ABG. Me Nick Penny, I'm the first speaker Blo Parliament Blo ABG. Start long 2005, I think. Yeah. Anyway, me harim plan di talk strong pla talk come up Blo Bougainville. Big pla strong pla all talk. Lon Islam me scaling me yet also. You know, we Bougainvilleans have gone a long way. And we had long, people come back. People go a long way finish. Situation now, for this time, and we come long point where also long me yet time we talk, me say talk also all this negotiation or consultations between the two governments. They basically have been like, you know, a courtroom situation where legalities and constitutional matters have been argued back and forth. And the 97.7% of vote of people of Bougainville, people come up also meet in the sandwich. Because it has come to a point where argument long, law has taken precedence over this love vote, understanding long people. All even vote behind him yet. Leadership. Spirit long this la leadership long this la time. Time people have been come up in Bougainville peace agreement. Big him pull him you beg long Mosby. Long time people have been like come up in or talk strong law referendum now. The late chief, Grand Chief, St. Michael Samari, who had been called chair belong. These are teams. Let me strong. Now me talk some Bougainville, he must not can hold him referendum. There must not be any referendum. So me play all the leader man, lo this time me play walk out. Me play walk out also. Leader blow me play Joseph Kabui. And me leading me play go out lo meeting. Me play go pick up na kisim balus. Me play wait stop lo kisim balus lo early morning. 9 o'clock time Alexander Downer, Foreign Minister long John Howard. Lo this la time. And me touchdown long Jackson, long Mosby. Long come na come talk. Long Prime Minister, long Papua New Guinea, Semekero Morota. Lord talking mem also. Send him cheap money. Send him St. Michael. Suppose you like, but you find him solution long Bougainville issue. Send him long chairmanship, court chairmanship. And that's exactly direction long John Howard, Prime Minister of Australia.
emi bin come up. Semekere, emi senisim semaiko, long na appoint him, se Moyave. Se Moyave take him leadership, co-chair in this conference, that you may sign him peace agreement. Lo 2001, lo August. We have gone a long way. All this time, Bougainville, through its government, the Jimmy Sanapim, autonomous Bougainville government, Jimmy put him all got something in place. Lo make him sure in preparation for independence that all something he come up. People go, make sure that Parliament too may come up. Me now, Assistant Speaker of Parliament of Papua New Guinea, we built this Parliament up. And we did that with the thought in us that we will be independent when the day comes. Also, Namito, we've gone a long way. It's very hard for us to come back. You know that way by Bougainville go back. No that way. Be challenging Papua New Guinea. You remember so many conventions, the United Nations. One of them is probably the Convention on Indigenous Minority Rights to Self-Determination. In 1987, if I can remember correctly, you became the member of that particular convention. But the rule requests that you ratify it on the floor of Parliament. Time Bougainville pine him heavy in 1990, you failed to ratify yourself. Papua New Guinea Parliament may fail. Although I'm a member of Blongdisla, Convention belong indigenous right to self-determination. I'm a member. Even now, I'm a member yet. So question belong Attorney General, am I right? Me plan on not accepting no for an answer. Because you are a member along human rights, along self-determination convention, the United Nations. The time crisis come up, you plan on ratifying because Bougainville is at your doorstep. It's going through that process. So you denied yourself and you denied the people of Bougainville. If you do not vote yes, you're denying the people of Bougainville. Knowingly. Because you remember along this United Nations, a convention long self-determination, indigenous minority rights to self-determination. Me ask him, Papua New Guinea, long gone you ratify this la. Something you believe long inside on this convention. Then you vote him yes, long Bougainville independence, long time ratification. Now long sessional order. Make him easy. We don't want to go on figures. 2/3 majority. Me speaker na me understand this la. Look long sample something favorable. Don't make him this like happen. Because Melanesian way long address all issue. You play leader mania. You play all staff of parliament, blo Papua New Guinea na online blo me play lo here. Decision blow you play, whichever way. This is a Melanesian passing. If it is not through vote, come up with some strategy. Lo make it happen. But if it has to be through vote, every house that sits, we suggest also, all the house are sitting down. Make him two-thirds people present in that very house. Not the whole 120 members of parliament. If there are 30 people, 2/3 of 30 will do. Because all of cheap here, only will make him decision. Suppose me 2/3 long normal standing orders, long passing big law of parliament, you need him 2/3 absolute majority. then two-thirds absolute majority, long aninit long Melanesian agreement, long parliament long issue long Bougainville, give him two-thirds long those present on the floor of parliament at that particular sitting. 50 come up, 30 come up, two-thirds long. Only talk yes, and Melanesian, something you go through. Emily talk from Milo, you proud panel. Suppose you can kiss him all this la. And by me moving forward. Also, some plus speaker talk finish. Let me agree one time on. Relationship blow you me and me strap and big plus something. You will talk in me plus as an independent nation, lo make him decision blow me plus. Lo how run him government, let's look out them sit down blow me plus. But the bigger relationship with Papua New Guinea, and try plus something more than Papua New Guinea has with Australia. PNG has with Australia maybe for economic and security reasons. But with Bougainville and Papua New Guinea, try plus something here. Eminulik, custom here. Who can think him this Australia, Papua New Guinea? It comes in only economics and security. Why you bravo kolom poroman na kay mouse one time more? Lohian na Papua New Guinea big plus something straight there. You will brother Susa, you may also. So look him this land, you may go pass him. That talk both lo yes, la lare may play go, that you may come. All kind treaty by pulling you me one time, pass him you me together. Thank you, True Chairman.
Thank you, True. Yes, you have the floor. Name na.
Good afternoon, all panel.
You talk good lo microphone.
Yumi, bilang to kami ng Loibla. It's an honor to have you people here, our leaders, our Mosby, the chairman, Dr. Alan Marad, Dr. Sheikh Bukatemo, Honorable Governor, Washington Britain, and our honorable member, North Bougainville. Mi blay hamas lo you blay come here. Mi ed nemblo mi molasione. Mi paternal grandfather lo mi emblo Buka lo here lo han. Barahon paternal grandmother lo mi blo modlok. Mi kam lo modlok bad. Mi blo Bougainville. Mi wala hari mo di sila tok mi hamas mi blay got opportunity lo kam expression mi blay lo here. Mi hamas lo tok blong Dr. Sepu Katemu and mi tok lo seasonal order lo approaching this blah lo Melanesian way. Why mi tok Sam? Because you saw you me got ratification and mi stop lo go lo parliament and at the same time you me been got this one of me Bougainville peace agreement. Okay? There's a Bougainville peace agreement where only talk I mean non-binding. And then we have a ratification now. Lo, I mean knock him double parliament now. Lo process lo parliament. Lo authorize him or lo endorse him. Lo you me got. But lo Israel Bougainville peace agreement. Only talk I mean non-binding. So, meaning it is not legally enforceable. So it puts us in a political catch-22 position. So me like Tokosem, this is a peace agreement. Was it just a carrot or an inducement? Now, me have a maslo this is a talk long Melanesian approach because I don't want us to be in that position because if the ratification was passed through, we can be challenged by the what what I mean? This is a peace agreement, yeah, being non-binding. So it is a political catch-22 on it. So me have master law this law. Dr. Sepukutimu talk about Melanesian approach on this law. That is one. Not something. We like talk. Bougainvillians.
we got committed ourselves to the peace agreement. At the time that we had the peace agreement, we rose up. We rose up to it. On money to us, you mean no economic independence. But we were working on it. Suppose you look, look, cocoa, we are the top, producing $500 million. Raw coconut, copra, we are fourth. Behind Medang, East Britain, and New Orleans. The three of them ahead of us. Even the Solwara or resources from Bula is not yet. Suppose you look him, we will contributing 30%. Low, which equates to 333 million US, which equates to PGK 1.4 billion. So suppose you like questioning economic independence from Bula, I'd say we have it. We have what we have that we can stand up to and say we have it with us. Our resources is there. We cannot be measured by just a cash, budget metrics. Planning man, all we want to talk. But it's like cash budget metrics that we have an internal revenue generation of 50 million, and we've been got one of big budget about 761 million. If you look at it, most of that has been invested in here, and that is why we became the top producers of cocoa and been fourth place in copra. So, and yet we have tourism potential, we have forestry potential, we have the money. So what have you got to say that we don't have it? We have the resources here. It is not that cash, budget metrics, which is only a cash aspect of the budget we are looking at. No, you must look, raw resource, our human resource, our tangible human resource and our intangible human resource, which is skills blow you mean, surveyable land blow you mean. We have to take all these things in account. And Bougainville has risen up, straight up to the wall, and boom, it has to be respected. The peace agreement, you know, we are in a catch-22 position on it. Now, we have also this nation. Approach from you, the last thing that we like to talk now, consultations that you people had in the other, forums, Papua New Guinea mainland, now, island provinces, sister island provinces, suppose you look him, maybe not watching these all videos, yeah? Let me look him some forum, you go sit down, you know, plan the line. Now, suppose you look him online, come to Lohavia, and more Bougainvilleans. Now, Lick land was some hub, all come inside. The only other place that you have been gone, I got the planning land, all never have even come inside them is New Britain. Me ham master all come, lost stop, lost this or something. And more sister promise from Mibla. So only like Harim Tuna, only contribute to some, only like contribute to Mibla. But me like talk. Because you like come on, one man. You have been called the consultants. Now you are looking more. Dick, Bougainville and Tasso Bomibla in Islam, you know, planting on Mibla. Does that not raise a perception? Why not line I not come? These questions have to be asked. No go to line talk. And something more. Give me more. That's a perception. Or there may be other perception. I think you need to make him some capturing all this or something. We need to really capture these things. Why you may not been got all this land and you may got long Bougainville, I think we have a bigger forum here. Long not why not been planning too much me, observing long on a television. Lord this lot all me like Autumn, me like Lucy Morrison. Thank you, straight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Turu.
Down him microphone and go down.
Highly distinguished members of Parliament, Buka, Dr. Marat, Governor of West New Britain, and member for North Bougainville, Mama Prenko, all Bougainvillians. Okay, and I may like acknowledge him to me one pla teacher, Lochana Secondary School. I like to acknowledge the presence of colleague teachers, very important people, because the decision we make today Affect him this young plaman Mary mi platis mo staff. Mi Matthew Malaya. Mi high school teacher mathematics. Mila come talk. One, I like to take you back to 1988. We thank you through the Bipartisan come lo piney mouth. Facts, information that you can go to Parliament House, present him for this ratification process. Let me tell you, this is the very thing that was missing in 1988. Time heavy kamal lo panguna. Kamal Papua New Guinea no sali on delegation no come up piney walk piney out. Instead, you play salim amin police with that shoot to kill order behind Senate crisis come up because mercenaries come. What was the order they were trying to be employed on Bougainville? Eradication. Fortunately, Singirok, Voltainuma, Beldon Nama or stop him na Mipla Bougainville line, Mipla stop yet it's la ground. There's a ground Mipla Buka. Suppose national government looks away. We Bougainvilleans were highly educated people. Mipla line Baharim talk. Suppose you've been come with him, now you come sit down. Something you don't have come up with him. I want to acknowledge that. Two, Mila justifying. Former speaker. I'm not a learned person in legal language. I'm learned in mathematics. As far as I can hear, I have been reading. One lawyer plus sit down here. According to his clarification, the legal framework is in order. Suppose he no establish order. Why do we have a constituent assembly here? Why do we have our own elections here? They can only happen if the order is in order. The legal framework is in order. Now, I think it's time to look what can be done to move the independence issue forward. There is no way we are going to turn back. I stand here before the committee